Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Good morning, guys. It is 8:13 on Tuesday, the 5th of August 2025. That means we have completed 3 years and 18 weeks of what will be roughly an 8-year fire journey or fire experiment, depending on how you choose to look at it. Let's have a look at the current situation. So the current market value, current price, £90.55, and that's up roughly 0.5% today so far. And as you can see from the graph there, the market is trading towards the upper end of where we've ever seen it. I don't think that's just quite as high as it has been. There were a couple of days there where it had pulled back slightly, if I remember rightly. The current portfolio value is sitting at 26,400 odd. Current return on investment 26.5% roughly. And we've got 292 shares in the portfolio. Average purchase price just at the moment £71.49. That will increase when we put in this week's investment. I just want to scroll down a little bit and have a look to see if we can what the highest point was. Now maybe we can't actually discern that from this statistics panel here. Obviously you can see the high and the low for the day. Let me just roll back up again. Okay, yeah, so currently sitting at £90.55, but there is a figure noted there of a high of 93.82 for the past 52 weeks. So despite the fact that the market is up 0.5%, it had pulled back a little bit in between times. It just out of pure interest, you can see annualized performance listed beneath there. So 1 year 7.96, 3 years 8.75, 5 years 18.25. I think those are figures that are based on literally compared to this time a year ago, this time 3 years ago, and this time 5 years ago, rather than something a little bit more meaningful. Because obviously, I mean, as you can see, over the space of 3 years and a little bit, we've got a return here of 26.5%. But that doesn't appear to match up with the 3 years and 8.75%. So that is obviously calculated slightly differently. Right, before we have a look at the notifications, let me just draw your attention to Monzo.
I want a bank that makes money easy.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
Oh.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Ratio.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw. Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings pot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
You can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, if you're potentially interested in another bank account or indeed in changing mobile providers, there are affiliate links in the description for Monzo and Smarty Mobile. Those are two companies that I use myself. I find them to be pretty good. And obviously if you use the affiliate link, there will be some kind of a benefit to me as well as you. Here are the notifications. Biggest stocks before earnings: Palantir, LTC Properties, Duke Energy, Archer Daniels and Pfizer. FIG retreats. Figma falls 20% after 270% post IPO surge. IPO will be an initial public offering. Spotify gains 6% on plans to hike subscription prices globally. That's interesting. I personally do have a Spotify account, just a free one. And certainly in the past I have said that I have found that the adverts on Spotify, I don't know if they tend to be more relevant to me or if they're just slightly better quality adverts, but I've never been annoyed, if you like, by the adverts on Spotify. I hadn't found them a problem, and I hadn't really seen a reason to subscribe, because up until now at least, and I'll be honest, I haven't actually used Spotify very much this last while. These days I more often use Spotify to listen to podcasts than I do to actual music. But obviously there are umpteen different platforms available, umpteen different programs that you can use to listen to podcasts, and Spotify is simply an additional one as regards that. Anyway, obviously they are convinced that raising subscription prices is going to be something that will work for them. I don't know. I do know one Spotify subscriber, but then again, it would be fair to describe him as a musician. So I'm just not sure that people are willing to subscribe for listening to music that a lot of they can get on, say, the likes of YouTube now, albeit Spotify's good in that it groups. You can look at an individual artist and you can see all their work in the one place. I suppose it's good from that point of view. And I wish them every success. Let's have a look. See at so we've had a look at the notifications. We've had a look at the market there. Excuse me. I really have a bit of a cold or allergies or something. I'm not sure what it is, but slightly afflicted today, so to speak. Let's go ahead and do this week's investment. So we're hitting the buy button. If you've followed the journey so far, you'll know that each week I buy 120 theoretical pounds of the S&P 500, the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund. Where possible, I trade on the open market, and the market is open at present. When we submit that, you'll see that it's a market buy, so we're not imposing any limits at either end, and this will just execute at fair market value. One of the reasons I like trading 212 is that there is no commission. And as compared to other investment providers, like for instance Hargreaves Lansdown, who have been around for a long time, it is virtually cost free to trade on Trading 212. Last time I made a trade on Hargreaves Lansdowne, I think it cost me over £10, and I think it may even have gone up from then. So let's send this through. So we bought 1.32 shares at £90.47p, and I'm just trying to reassure myself that the figures have updated. I think they have, although the market has kind of moved very slightly downwards, or rather the growth that it had shown earlier has declined very slightly. But yes, with that new investment done, that brings our portfolio value to 26,500. The return on investment a little lower at 26.38%. And now we've got 293.4 shares in the portfolio. Average purchase price now up to 71.57. I think that's pretty much all for today. Yeah, as I say, this is roughly an 8-year fire journey. If you're interested in following it, why not subscribe to the channel? And if you particularly enjoyed today's episode, give it a thumbs up. All that remains is for me to thank you for watching and wish you a good end of your week. And I'll be back next week with more. Bye for now.